I never know how best to start these, so I'm just going to come straight out. Iran is an extremist country run by Shia Islamist militant death cultists, and it has to be stopped. That regime has to fall. And it's best that it happens today rather than tomorrow when they could, in fact, be an imminent threat. I've heard a lot of talk lately about the fact that there was no reason to go into Iran, that they weren't really an imminent threat, that why are we wasting time on another forever war? And frankly, I think all of this is a shallow analysis at best. I think that for the last 47 years, Iran has been responsible for a disproportionate amount of the terrorism that we've seen across the world. They've either directly involved themselves in it or they funded it through proxies and a variety of other funding networks. I think it's blatantly clear to anyone that's done even a modicum of the research required that Iran is run by Shia Islamists who literally believe in bringing about the end of the world. They believe that this would somehow be a good thing, that it would be religiously and morally just, and they want to destroy Israel and America. They make no secret about that. They also seek a broader Islamist revolution, and they make that pretty clear as well. I'm a firm believer in taking people at their word, and if that's what they say they intend on doing, then I think that that is in fact what they intend on doing. Let's not forget the fact that they have ramped up munitions and, munitions very aggressively over the last few years, and I think it's important to bear this in mind. The last time we saw a country ramp up its military operations and its military manufacturing this aggressively, it was Germany shortly before the Second World War. No country ramps up this aggressively and this quickly in such a short window of time without expecting to or actively planning on going to war. Now, you could argue that this war was defensive. I see no evidence to suggest that they were prepping on defense. Ultimately, when this war started, they immediately started by attacking all of their neighbors, including European territories. They attacked Cyprus. They also revealed just recently that they had a ballistic missile that was capable of traveling 2,000 kilometers. Now, why on earth would a country planning on fighting a war defensively have any need for munitions that can travel 2,000 kilometers? I think it's blatantly obvious when you pair this with the fact that they had 60% enriched uranium that this is a country that was planning on expanding aggressively throughout perhaps the remainder of the region. But again, this pairs with their philosophy. They seek to essentially export their Islamic revolution to the rest of the world, and they've made this very clear since their inception in 1979. This has in fact been their goal. So, to the naysayers out there who state that this Iran was not an imminent threat, that there was absolutely no need to go in there, yes, they weren't an imminent threat. There was a period of time through the 1930s when Nazi Germany was not an imminent threat. But you know what? During the 1930s is exactly the time where we should have done something about them, because then we could perhaps have avoided a 6 year long war which cost the lives of 80 million people. And perhaps, to the naysayers, that is something worth bearing in mind. Regardless of what your opinions on Israel are, regardless of what your opinions on the debacle that has been American foreign policy for the past 20 years, I think that for the first time, possibly in my lifetime, we're seeing a war that is about as close to moral and just as I can remember. Now, we have to remember that this is a war, and wars cost, right? There are sacrifices involved. People may die. I'm not advocating for that, not by any stretch of the imagination. I certainly wish the NATO powers weren't so pussified and had actually done something akin to helping out their allies in this situation, but of course they didn't. But fundamentally, if petrol that is a bit more expensive is the price that the ordinary citizen has to pay, and a few casualties thus far are all we have to pay, then I would say that that is a worthy sacrifice for getting rid of one of the most heinous regimes the world has ever seen, quite possibly for good, and weakening Russia and China in the process. Now, of course, I understand some people are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But thus far, I've yet to see a counter argument that actually makes any sense in light of what I've just outlined. Iran, once again, is ruled by Islamist death cultists that have, since 1979, sought nothing short of exporting their Islamic revolution through violence if necessary to the entire region and then to the entire world. That is their mandate, they've made that clear. And if they had nuclear weapons and a military that was capable of actually posing a significant threat to the remaining Gulf states, that is exactly what they would have done. Thank you. That is all.